morning, everybody. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kayla Mack. I'm a federal mediator with the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service. I'm mediating today's negotiations. I'm going to ask that everyone present respect again the committees, individuals at the table, the hard work being done, and the process by which we are accomplishing that hard work. We're going to start with introductions.
Barb Muller with Human Resources.
Mark Ferrandino, Chief Financial Officer.
Good morning, Debbie Hirty, Human Resources.
Good morning, Michelle Berge, General Counsel.
Hi, Susana Cordova, Superintendent.
Hi, my name is Michelle Horwitz. I'm a speech language pathologist in the Northwest for the bilingual assessment team.
I'm Becca Hendricks. I teach math at Emily Griffith High School.
I'm Jane Linneman. I'm a school psychologist.
Good morning, I'm Dana Berge. I'm an EC art teacher at Pascual Ladue in Southwest.
Good morning, I'm Amanda Listman. I'm a speech language pathologist in the Southwest.
Corey Kern, DCTA staff.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Rob Gould, and my voice is getting better thanks to all the home remedies I've received the last couple of days. So thank you very much, and also we want to thank you for the wonderful gifts and things. It really helps us to keep going. So thank you.
Good morning. How are you all today? Hi, I'm Pam Schamberg, retired DPS teacher and DCTA staff.
DCTA president.
Jeff Buck, I teach math at South High School. Brian Weaver, Florida Pitt Waller, 6th grade math, Far Northeast.
Good morning, I'm Lynn Valencia Hernandez, and I teach English and Ethnic Studies at Thomas Jefferson High School.
Good morning, Greg Arnsbrake. I teach physical education at Bruce Randolph.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to
Yep, so thank you. And I want to thank everybody for all the work yesterday. Yesterday was a long day, but really glad that we're back here to continue to make progress toward an agreement. We want to share with you our latest proposal. While we're going through our proposal, we'll have some questions also. As we looked at your proposal, we've tried to incorporate some of the things and then places where we've got some questions. So we started our proposal with the revisions that we have here today. Oh, are we passing them around? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll give you a minute to get those around.
Susanna, I just wanted to also thank you, wanted to thank you for agreeing to let us all kind of continue today and last night because we all needed it for sure, and I just want to make sure to say that out loud.
It was a long day, so I totally understand that. Yeah. So just wanted to jump right in to talk about how we've approached the horizontal movement across the calendar schedule. So we have this section here that we want to talk through with you. So here are some of the changes that we've added in to try to make this more clear. I think there were questions that we saw here both at the table and then lots of comments online around horizontal movement. And so what we've added in here is to try to make it more clear what the intention is to describe how people can move. So we've got the table above, the headers for each of the columns, the lanes of the schedule. And lane placement is determined by your education level. That's where you're initially placed. So if you're in a BA or a BA plus 20, a BA plus 40, wherever it is. And then you can also have movement in this way. If you are earning a longevity, you move a lane. You move a lane if you've earned an advanced license or a national board. So we want to describe how this would work because there are lots of questions around, I think Jeff, you called it where you get shipwrecked. And so we want to make sure that it's clear if there's a place where you can't move because you don't have a degree, how that works with other aspects of movement. So for example, if you have a BA plus 20 and you are in longevity, you'd be placed in lane C, which is titled BA plus 40/MA. If you then earned your national board, you would move to lane D, the MA plus 20. If you then earned your MA, you'd be in lane E, the MA plus 40, because your education level is a BA plus 40 MA, and you have 2 qualifying lane changes through the longevity and national board. So that's one example. Another example would be that if you came in and you were placed at the BA plus 40 or MA lane because you have an MA, and you get your national board, you'd move to lane D, the MA plus 20 lane. If you then earned longevity for 10 years, you'd move to lane E, MA plus 40. And then if you learned 20 credits, either through PDU or college credits, you'd move to lane F because your education level is MA plus 20 with 2 qualifying lane changes through national board and longevity. So we wanted to just describe how that works for people to be able to see that it's always where you've been placed plus the lane changes that qualify you for movement to be able to do that. So that's where we are. The next place where we want to talk is to go deeper into PDUs. And I'll start with a question that we had as we looked at your proposal, and then I'll have Debbie talk through some of the changes. So one of the places where I think we have a conceptual agreement is that we want to create a system that allows for 10 to 20% movement a year. And we saw in your proposal the changes to increments of education at 18 credits and allowing for 3 PDUs a year. And we don't understand how with that design you are accounting for 10 to 20% movement a year and not higher. And so what we'd like to ask for from you is how your model does that. And so when we're back together after this, we'd love to be able to see that in writing to understand how you've approached that to account for the 10 to 20% movement. And then I'll turn it over to Debbie, who's going to talk through our PDU section.
Great. Thanks, Susanna. So the question about the financial modeling around PDUs, on hold right now, we did want to be immediately responsive to you about the language of the PDU. And so you'll see some changes in our proposal in response to the feedback you gave us yesterday. So first, PDUs have 3 components. That's language I think we're all aligned on: study, demonstration, and reflection, with a course of study of at least 45 hours for 3 credits. Again, that's complementary to what we see in other districts. The approved PDU proposal will document how the time will be allocated based on the PDU guidelines. And so that's based on some of the questions you all had yesterday. As documented in the approved PDU proposal, the 45 hours will include time in instruction and or participation in a learning cohort outside the school day, time to read and study. Notice we're not naming where that takes place based on the concerns you named yesterday, Rob. And time to reflect and apply learnings as an essential piece of the so what aspect of the learning. We also heard from you, Pam, your concerns about the unnecessary complexities that can get added on. And so wanted to have language here that speaks to what our intent is and not adding on additional complexities. So the author of the PDU proposal will determine and map out the allocation of the 45 hours. So that will happen at the point of PDU approval, not at the end point of individual participants, so the 45-hour map, instead of individuals having to document their hour-by-hour completion. And the rest is secret. Here we go. We're back. Alrighty. The rest of the PDU. Where was I? Okay. appreciate that. All right. Let's see. Participants will not need to submit additional documentation of their hours of work. The approved PDU completion will be adequate to apply for the lane change. As with a college course, participants will earn the 3 credits upon facilitator acknowledgement of completion. So again, this is us addressing the concerns about additional hoops that one might have to jump through. How do we ensure that we're not adding complexity? Finally, to your language from your proposal, some courses of study might be offered for a PDU or university credit. In these cases, participants need to choose either the PDU or the university credit, not both. We're still with the PDU is equivalent to 3 credits. We just incorporated that earlier in the proposal, so that's just ordered differently. The credit on the employee salary schedule, that is crossed out again for simplification. That concept is incorporated earlier in the language, so no change in concept. And then we want to spend some time talking with you about the guidelines and the creation of the guidelines. So our updated proposed language here. All applicants for PDUs must be submitted according to established guidelines. The ProComp implementation team will improve the guidelines by consensus. If the team cannot reach consensus, the superintendent or his or her designee will make the final decision. So this is language that we have collaborated with you on in the past in the master agreement, similar to the concept we currently have in the master agreement around the lead collaboration committee and the benefits board. So same process there that has been working well for the last year and a half, apply to this process. I believe those are our updated changes, and we'll love to hear questions.
Question? No, we're good. Yeah, we just need some time and, oh, okay.
We also just wanted to raise an issue for further discussion to let you know that we're thinking about this and we want to be able to talk with you about it more, and that is whether or not the table has 20 steps versus 30 steps. We are open to looking at the 20 steps. I think if we do, we should just talk about the trade-offs there. You know, for example, if we had your 20 steps and your longevity, you know, the trade-off is that the 20 to 30 years wouldn't have continuous increases. There'd be kind of a cap on those years. If you have the same amount for those years, you do have some additional money to invest in earlier years, and that could be an amount to each cell across the board, or that could be in different ways. But we are open to talking with you about that, that if we did that, how should we invest that money, or is that the right trade-off?
Yeah, thank you. We'll definitely talk more about it, and we'll get back to you soon. Okay. Let's definitely do a check-in in 30 minutes, and we're gonna try to get through this, right?
Let's do it.